Hey everyone! Thank you for joining us for the Microsoft Fabric FabCon Global Hackathon. My name is Anna. I'll be your producer for this session. I'm an event planner for Reactor, joining you from Redmond, Washington. Before we start, I do have some quick housekeeping. Please take a moment to read our code of conduct. We seek to provide a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. While we absolutely encourage engagement in the chat, we ask that you please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. Keep an eye on that chat. We'll be dropping helpful links and checking for questions for our presenters to answer. Our session is being recorded. It will be available to view on demand right here on the Reactor channel. With that, I'd love to turn it over to our speakers for today. Thank you so much for joining.
All right. Well, this is an exciting event because this kind of comes off the heels of what was an exciting event last week. So for those of you who don't know and that are joining here, obviously what we're here for is the Hack the Future of Data and AI with Microsoft Fabric. We're actually launching a hackathon, another hackathon. But the interesting thing here is for folks who've been in the know, you can see here, today's September 22nd, but we started this on September 15th. And that is true because that was FabCon EU. So Josh, I know you were over there. You want to fill us in on like how that kind of kicked off, what that was like? Just give us some of the excitement I think that was ongoing last week. I'm really curious about that.
Yeah. So last week was FabCon EU in Vienna, in Austria, and I was there. And it was a very exciting event. Tons of people showed up. Tons of announcements from Fabric. The platform, the various workloads, and just a lot of cool stuff basically happened during FabCon. And so for those who are not able to make it to FabCon EU last week, this is an opportunity for you to get a taste of that, with an opportunity to participate in the FabCon Hackathon. So think of this as, all the cool stuff that were announced last week. This is an opportunity for you to start building with that during the hackathon. So, yeah.
I love that. So we have this awesome event. We release all these awesome features. Everybody's having a great time over there. And now we have like a 2-month time frame with which that people can start to build. And I mean, if you pay attention to these dates, I mean, we know as Microsoft employees that November 3rd, that puts this right ahead of Microsoft Ignite. So for folks who aren't familiar, that's one of the largest Microsoft conferences alongside with Build, where a lot of announcements are typically made. So I can't really get into where the connection of this event and this hackathon may be, but there's obviously some really interesting thing I think that connects those two milestones. So with it, I know we've got a QR code flashed on the screen. Josh, can you tell us where that would go if folks were to scan that today, where that's going to bring us?
Yeah, if you scan the QR code or use the link on your screen today, that's going to take you to the GitHub repo for the hackathon. So think of this as your complete documentation with complete resources for the hackathon. So you want to learn about the hackathon, the various categories, the pricing, the terms and conditions, how to submit your project. This is the place. So that QR code and that link, aka.ms/FabConHack, that should take you directly to the GitHub repo.
All right, excellent. So that gets us to the details, right? So people kind of know what we're here for. I don't think they know who we are. I know we just skipped right into the excitement and the recap. Which I think is just super interesting because Josh, you're actually joining us right now. You're still in Vienna.
Yes.
You're taking advantage of the fact that the event was there, and from what I understand, you're having an awesome weekend and good time over there. You're still over there, but where is home for you? And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. So I'm Josh. Home is in Nairobi. You can tell I'm from Kenya with my beautiful wrist bracelet. I'm from Nairobi. I'm a cloud advocate for the data team in the Microsoft Developer Relations. I'm on the same team with Paul. And so it's exciting to be here to talk to you all about data. It's all we do, talk about data, talk about Fabric, and all the amazing tools that we're building here at Microsoft around our data tools and our data platforms.
Awesome. Yeah. And it's similar. I think Josh kind of alluded to this. Josh and I do work together. I'm the lead for the data advocacy team at at Microsoft. We cross paths weekly. I mean, it's we haven't done live streaming sometimes, so I'm happy to be back doing that. But I'm also based in Houston, Texas. Kind of been here through the majority of my career at Microsoft. And as Josh said, what we really focus on in our team is a lot of I'm going to say advocacy efforts around really the product offerings that come out of Azure Data, and that of course includes things like Microsoft Fabric, Power BI, any of the Azure databases, so, Azure Database for Postgres, Azure Cosmos DB, Azure SQL, those types of things. It's all covered within our team. So if you ever have like some interest in technologies that fall under that umbrella, we'd love to hear from you. Follow us on LinkedIn. We provided the links down here for both of us. And that can be for anything. Maybe you want to talk to us about the hackathon. Maybe you want to talk to us about any of those products that just kind of listed under that umbrella. We're here to listen to you, and we like to bring some of those conversations into bringing actual product change. That is literally our role. So hopefully we'll be hearing from you all. So that said, Josh, I think people know what's going on. They know who we are. Let's get into a little bit more details about the hackathon itself. So I like this. The first thing, I'm going to just go through these one by one, but the first thing here is it's 8 weeks long. You have 8 weeks to hack.
Yeah.
And, Josh, so what excites you about that? The fact that we're, really giving you ample time, I'd say, I'm not trying to lead the question here, but we're given a lot of time so you can actually build something you really want to build here. That's the way I see this. Amidst the weekends and probably family activities and life activities, I think it's a great amount of time to be able to pursue a passion project.
Exactly. It's going to be 8 weeks. And when you think of all our hackathons, even our previous hackathons that we've run, it's not just a hackathon just to hack and build solutions. It's also an opportunity for you to learn while you build. So it's going to be 8 weeks long. So you have an opportunity for you to build some amazing innovations with Microsoft Fabric, with AI. But on top of that, you also have an opportunity to learn while at it. So, it might be the first time you're using Fabric. It might be the first time, you're getting started with the platform. So you have enough time to learn and build while at it. And it's 8 weeks. So we also thought it easier to do something different. So you can submit more than one project. So if you want to submit 2 projects, 3 projects, that's okay. As long as they are distinct and unique projects, you also have an opportunity to do that. But importantly, you have an opportunity to interact with the community through that time, interact with Microsoft experts, learn and build while at it. So I'm excited for this. It's going to be some good 8 weeks ahead of us.
Yeah, I want to unpack like 3 things that kind of came out from what you said there. So number one, with this 8 weeks, you really can. You can start from nothing and not only just have the time to learn a new technology, or as we know with Fabric, it's a number of different workloads. You can learn various different things, and we're actually supporting that with ongoing live streams that will be taking place throughout that 8-week period. So this is technically one of them, but the subsequent live streams are actually going to be a little bit more technically focused, showing you how to accomplish something cool and neat. So we'll have that coming up soon here. I know Samaleze is going to be joining us, another teammate of ours. He'll be delivering a session on Thursday about utilizing shortcuts and things like that to work with data across different clouds in Fabric. One of the other things that I wanted to unpack that you mentioned there is this new rule, or kind of, I'd say, opportunity, where you can actually submit more than one project. So they have to be distinct, and judges, we will discern whether that is truly distinct or not. But if you find yourself, so excited after building one thing that you really want to go forth with another, we want to give you the opportunity to submit both of those as potential winners within our prize categories. And then the last thing you hinted on there, Josh, and by the way, for our viewers out there, I'm going to zero in on all these things we're talking about here, is this ability to communicate with the community. So to really like live chat, reach us on platforms like Discord and things like that, which we're going to talk about those resources in a moment, to really talk about your project, or also even use that to go find a team member, those sorts of things, all possible, in addition to all the vibrant community info that's available on the Fabric community site, which we'll talk about shortly. But going into some of the other things that are listed here, we do want to mention it's open to individuals and teams. So Josh, the max size here is 3 team members. That's correct?
Yeah, it's 3 team members. And still looking at the questions that are coming in on chat, I see someone asking whether it's a global hackathon, whether it's open worldwide. And just to echo on that, it's going to be a global hackathon. It's not restricted to particular countries, but there are some few restrictions, and please check on our TNCs on the GitHub repo. But as Paul, you mentioned, you can either do this as an individual, or you can do this with a team of up to 3 team members. So either way is okay.
Excellent. And I wanted to call out there too, like, let's just say hypothetically, if you're in a team and you win, that becomes an equal distribution of the total prize, right? So like, you don't get multiple prizes. So like, let's assume a winner would get, $1,500 if they're solo. If it's 3, we would cut that into 3. Each individual would get 500 each. Is that the correct way to think about that?
Yeah. But according to our TNCs for this time, we'll be delivering this to the team representative. So if you're hacking together as a team, you're going to register. Your team representative is going to register on the registration site. We're going to get to that shortly, and then the prizes are going to be delivered to the team representative, and then you will be responsible for the splitting of all of that. We'll be sharing the link to the TNCs on chat as well.
Excellent. And then I guess I'm looking at the prizes. So it's up to $10,000 of prizes. That's across multiple categories, correct? And we're going to go into those one by one. But I want to say off the top, it's like 5 unique categories and perhaps a grand prize. Is that accurate, Josh?
Yes, we have 5 categories, and so for the grand prize, they get a chance to take away 2,500, and then for each of the other winning categories, which we'll look into, it's 1,500 USD per category. So I think this is going to be an exciting one.
Excellent. And then I see here participants can connect with a vibrant data and AI community. And the thing I want to call out here is, like, I don't think it's a surprise that in a Fabric hackathon, for anybody who's familiar with Fabric being, a data platform for all the things, that obviously there's a data community element to this, but the AI community part is really interesting to me. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that, Josh, and before we get into the sneak peek and I guess the deeper dive of what these resources are that we're going to be offering to folks.
So for the community, this time we're leveraging Discord, the Azure AI Foundry Discord server. So the reason that's important is, when you think about AI is only as good as your data. And so we thought it wise just to bring these 2 communities together. And we've been seeing a lot of momentum, a lot of feedback, even people asking about Fabric on the Azure AI Foundry Discord server. And so we thought this would be a good home for our FabCon Hackathon community. And so we'll be having, we actually have a FabCon Hackathon channel on the AI Foundry Discord server. And so that will be a good opportunity to connect with us, connect with Microsoft experts, and also connect with the vibrant AI community on the AI Foundry Discord server. So that's going to be the new home for our FabCon Hackathon community.
Excellent. So let's try to move forward and dive a little deeper there. Just want to let everybody know we are monitoring the questions. Hopefully we're answering most of these. I did want to call out one of these that a Bear in the Fog had asked if we submit as a team, does that mean that all team members must complete the learning path? And yes. So we would ask that anybody who's participating and wanting to make themselves eligible for a prize as a team participant would all need to follow the requirements mentioned in the terms, which does include that completion of the learning path.
Yeah, that's okay.
Excellent. So yeah, great question. Thank you for asking that. All right, so going forward, so I'm going to be surprised if quite a few of the folks joining us here today likely have participated in our previous hackathons, and I'm excited because we're going to show some of the things that were created in those previous hackathons. But before we do, I want to just kind of excite people a little bit for those of you who may be joining us for a subsequent round, and also just to give some framework for folks who are joining us new. What can you expect this go around that's different from our previous iterations? And I think the the big one, obviously, and this shouldn't be a surprise, is new hackathon categories. And Josh, I know from your experience, you were on site at FabCon in Vienna.
Yep.
You must have loved it so much you still haven't left. The things that were being announced there, like a lot of the I know Mirroring had some announcements that came out. Real-time intelligence was sharing some brand new features and things like that. I know we did our best, but is it safe to say that the new categories actually reflect a lot of those announcements? Is that fair to say?
Yeah, it's fair to say, and all these categories, you'll see, we have emphasis around AI, we have emphasis on RTI, real-time intelligence, we have emphasis on open mirroring, and we also have emphasis on databases, whether it's Azure databases or Fabric databases. And these are some of the key areas or some of the announcements that we had from FabCon. So one of the things we did with the categories from this hackathon is, focusing also on these new emerging data capabilities on the platform. So yeah, that's going in tandem with what was announced last week, and it's going in tandem also with how the evolution of the Fabric platform, and also the evolution of how everything is moving on in the data and AI space.
Love it. I mean, so it kind of gives you a good, for those who were at FabCon or those who were following the announcements online, this is a great reason to go kick the tires on all those new bells and whistles that have come out in recent. But also, what I've always liked about this too, and again, I'm going to go back to that, having 8 weeks of hacking time is like, you can build a real passion project, like that thing that you've wanted to build. This is that excuse to do it. Right? Like we're hoping we can inspire you that little extra push. And I know just how fun that can be. So going into the next section here on expanded skilling paths. So as many are probably aware, there's a number of different certifications out there that can, help really with getting you that authentic career capabilities that come with, showing that you're an expert in Microsoft Fabric. And that those are reflected in the DP600 and the DP700. Fabric Analytics Engineer certification, and others. So what's interesting here is that the learning path that we're providing here would be giving you the same knowledge that you could take to go get certified.
Yep.
And I see Mario Anthony Seminario Bravo has asked the question, is there a voucher option for participants? And I'm assuming that this question means, like, does that mean that, like, if we complete the learning path, can we get a voucher for a certification? I'm not aware of the options here currently, but I will say that in the past, completion of these has often led to either a free or discounted certification voucher. I can't speak to the details of that at this time because details are being made. I will tell you our resident Pam Spear, if anyone wants to reach out on LinkedIn to ask that kind of question, would be able to give you a bit more details on what's being thought out there. But I would say that as far as the hackathon is concerned, we want you taking these, going through this content mainly for the preparation that it's going to give you to know that it's going to prepare you to build high quality solutions. I would say stand by on the announcement of a voucher. We don't have full details on that yet. Anybody who's seen what we've done in the past, I'd say there's a good likelihood something will come, but unfortunately, I cannot guarantee anything at this point in time. But yes, you can use this both as a springboard for the learning for the hackathon, as well as it's kind of how can I say this? It's literally the study material for the certification. So if you wanted to hop to that area. So Josh, did you have anything else to maybe ask or add to that? Sorry.
Yeah, I think the other thing that is important is, for our beginners, we try to ensure this is also going to be beginner friendly. This is going to be the perfect resource for you to allow you to build and to learn and build at the same time. So if you're new to using Fabric, if you're new to the platform, the skilling path is really your friend here to help you ramp up. Yes, we have the live streams that are happening every week, but the skilling path gives you that opportunity to ramp up your learning and also build as well while you're learning at the same. So for a beginner audience, this is also a perfect resource for you.
That's excellent. Yeah, and I love that. Yes, we're trying to be inclusive here. Folks of all different skill levels, essentially, to be able to participate here. And yes, a lot of this learning content, it's designed to get you started from zero. It can get you all the way to being an expert. And in 8 weeks, right? Like it's really what you're capable of accomplishing in that time. Next, an interesting one, and I'm starting to get some questions here too, so I'll maybe pile these in here. But Josh, I'll let you speak to the Discord support. I know we've stood up within the AI Foundry Discord server, we've stood up a channel there. If you want to talk a little bit about that, what people can expect, and then I'm going to also kind of pick through the comments here and ask you some questions that pertain to this as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So for the Discord, as I mentioned, we have our dedicated channel on the Discord server. So if you go on the AI Foundry Discord server, you're gonna see a Fabric Hackathon channel, and you have the link. It's appearing on your screen right now. I would really encourage you to join the Discord server. Why is this important? One, it gives you an opportunity for us to give you constant updates regarding the hackathon. All of these will be posted directly on the Discord server. Number two, it allows you to interact with us and other experts on the server. So Paul, myself, my team, our entire team is gonna be there, and we're gonna be there to support you and answer any questions that you might be having. On top of that, it gives you an opportunity to interact with the actual community. So the AI Foundry has a very vibrant and rich AI community, and so if you're having any challenges, any questions you have around the use of AI, one of the categories for the hackathon is best AI application, which involves integration with Copilot Studio or AI Foundry. You have a vibrant community that you can be able to interact with from here. So that's also a very good resource. And for people who want to participate with a team, but you do not have a team, this is also a perfect opportunity for you to find team members. Just go on Discord and just start a thread and ask for people to join your team in the event you need that. But in the final thing, that as to why I would really recommend you to join the Discord the channel on Discord is because on the weeks we don't have live streams, and we'll get to how our schedule looks like. Some weeks we might have one live stream, other weeks we have 2 live streams. But on the weeks that we do not have a live stream, or we only have one live stream, we'll be hosting a 30-minute session on Discord. So we're calling these office hours. And now these are completely informal, not as structured as we have them here. And so you can come in there, ask us questions directly. We're going to try aligning these with everything that is happening through that week, but you have an opportunity to meet us, to meet the experts there, and ask your questions directly during the office hours. So think of this as one place that you can go ask a question, and you're gonna have someone that is responding to that. So that's it about the Discord server. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, so really the question I got here, which we can answer this right here. So Maya Subramanian asks, is there a separate thread for the hackathon under the Foundry Discord channel? Yes. So it's actually here. You can kind of see on my screen down here on the left, there is a hackathon section. You click on here, you'll see hashtag Fabric Hackathon. I'm waving hello from the live stream here, and I could see Somaya has found it because I saw you typing in the channel there. So that is cool. Great to know that this is working and folks are able to join. Other questions? Sam Nguyen has asked, is the individual submission accepted, and can we use a Fabric free trial? If yes, does it support all the features?
Yeah, let me try and answer that. So individual submissions, they are accepted. Yes, you can participate in the hackathon as an individual. You don't need to be a team, and so that's accepted. For Fabric free trial, if you already have a Fabric free trial, awesome. You can be able to use that and go ahead and build your project and submit and submit that. The only thing you need to note is, with the Fabric free trial capacities, you do not have some of the AI powered capabilities. So that's just one thing to note. But we have provided detailed instructions on the GitHub repo on how you can be able to access or how you can be able to create a Fabric capacity using an Azure free trial. So that's the workaround around there. So if you don't have a Fabric free trial, you can easily use Azure free trial, and we have instructions, detailed instructions on the GitHub repo. If you go on the GitHub repo, I think, Paul, if you scroll to the file section, there is one called, there's one up, yeah, right there, that one
So
there.
step 3, where it says, if you don't have a capacity, follow these instructions to create one. This can get you beyond the free trial and get you basically a full-fledged, F2, F4. And you can kind of decide,
Exactly.
but you don't want to burn all your credits. So I would suggest to keep it small. But this document will tell you how to sign up for that trial using a different means, using the Office 365 backing entry point for this. So that's cool. I'm glad you asked that question because Sam, because we definitely wanted to show that off here. So thank you. That's a common one. So yes, if you're having, if you need things beyond the Fabric trial, your Fabric trial is expired and you need another way to get it, step 3 right here on how to participate will get you exactly where you need to go. So
and if you use this route, you get the F2s and above, and you have now access to the AI capabilities inside of Fabric as well. So it's a plus.
All right, so Maya, we will double check this. So Maya was mentioning that the link in GitHub for FabCon did not bring us to this place. Okay, so Maya, let us know where that's coming from. We will get that if we have and we appreciate y'all helping us with our potentially broken links. So Josh, you already hinted on this, the expert session live streams, and we'll go into more details on these, but to quickly summarize, these will be focused episodes. There's really one, like, I guess for each of our categories, there's like an episode that I would say very tightly aligns to that and goes into I wouldn't call it beginner, but more like the meat and the substance of what we would be looking for in that particular category. And those, not all, but most of them will be delivered in partnership with members of the Fabric engineering team. So folks who are literally building these features and functionalities will be the folks in those live streams. So you can imagine there will be awesome questions and awesome answers happening in those particular sections. Thank you, Ephraim, for the call out there. Ephraim is kind of pointing out one of the limitations to be aware of. Data agents are not accessible even in the Fabric capacity. They require the paid version. It's a good caveat to be aware of. Thank you for sharing that, Ephraim. So the question, well, how do I participate? We're obviously shown you all these things. I want to try to kind of bring it all back together and simplify this for, what we're really doing here, how you get in, how you build, how you create, and how you become eligible for the prizes. And I think the easy way to do this is step number 1 is head to the FabCon Hack Register page. That's going to be over here. Josh, anything to add here? Just folks need to be aware of for the registration. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. But if you're working as a team, only your team lead or your team representative needs to fill these out. If you are
so embarrassed now because earlier Mario Anthony Seminario Bravo had asked us the question, is there a voucher option for participants? Well, apparently there is, and I apologize. I did not read this close enough this morning when I was going through our links, but there is receive a 50% off Fabric certification voucher for participating. So that will come out to participants, and that is likely being produced by Sphere, and that is how that got added in here. So very awesome to see that in here. So yes, we should be leading with that more often, Josh.
Yes, yeah.
I apologize, but I think we both kind of missed that opportunity there. Mario, you served it right up for us. But yeah, we're gonna take our words and modify, let's correct ourselves here. There is a voucher.
Yep.
You can get 50% off of a Fabric certification for DP 600 or 700 simply by participating. So that is awesome. All right. The next step. So you've registered. Now the next thing is go complete the skilling plan. And so for many of you, if you participated in previous hackathons, or if you've gone through some of the other Learn challenges that have been promoted through Microsoft, you may have already completed some of these. So you might not have the full assignment, and it will tell you if you're in that case. But what this will look like, build AI-powered data solutions with Fabric. And this is, of course, going to be our syllabus or corpus of collected content that's going to be related to things like Fabric, Power BI, Copilot, data agents, Lakehouse, etc. Giving you hands-on experience with Fabric all right here in a number of online interactive, what we call learning modules. So if I sort of scroll down here, it'll mention sign in to start. Once I do this, I'm going to choose one of my accounts. I guess we'll use my employee account. Hopefully that gets me in. And now that I'm in, you'll see what comprises the plan. So there are a number of different modules here for getting started with Power BI, introduction and analytics, etc. Milestone 2. And basically what we're asking you to do is go through these, and I want to say it's like 15 and some odd modules. In order to complete this aspect of the hackathon challenge, you do need to complete all of these or have them marked as completed. You'll understand what I mean by that when you jump into the content itself. But this is exactly what's going to prepare you for certification as well. So just want to kind of call that out. And if I had to guess, the way they're going to determine whether you get a voucher is both by looking at whether you've 100% completed this, and they're going to cross-reference that with whether you registered. So once they have those two pieces of information, that's going to get you your certification. I'm assuming that, but that's a pretty safe bet to say that's how they're going to determine.
And to what on top of that, Paul, when you're submitting your projects, there is a checkbox that you have to check to attest that you've actually completed the skilling.
Right, that's right. So yeah, we will also ask you to attest that you've completed this when you get to the submission process, which we'll talk a little bit about that now. Of course, we'll go into way more detail as we near the end of the hackathon. We'll have a special episode devoted just on how to submit your project. But yes, we will also ask the question in the end. So any questions that anyone has about the skills challenge or the registration form? The good news is that once you've got the registration, once you've done the skilling plan, you have basically until November 3rd to submit your projects. This date was chosen, knowing that in the United States, I know like October 31st is traditionally a holiday for some people, taking kids out for Halloween and that sort of thing. We wanted to make sure that we're not asking people to submit on a busy day like that. We wanted to kind of push and give you an extra weekend, in addition to give us a little bit of time between, Microsoft Ignite, which will be taking place like a couple weeks after. So hopefully, I will say this: in the past, our previous hackathons at both Build and Ignite, the product team is known to take the winners in their respective categories and present those on stage. I can't promise that, but that is one of the things and part of the reason why we are ending the hackathon at this time. We would like to chase those types of opportunities and bring awareness to some of those creative projects and some of the ones that end up winning, and get those actually put on stage perhaps at a future Microsoft event. Additionally, for the resources, so Josh sort of mentioned here, we don't want you to really be doing all this on your own.
Yes.
We want you to be following along with the guided modules that are in the skilling plan. Short link to those is also provided here on the screen. We want you to come to our Discord and interact and engage and ask questions. I would actually prefer, I know we have sites like the Fabric community site. Lots of folks are probably familiar with that, where there is a forum where you can ask questions here for various different entities across Fabric. This is at community.fabric.microsoft.com. In addition, there is the updates blog, which is a great place to go get the latest news for Fabric. We definitely would suggest you look at these things, but if you do have a question, I'm not discouraging you from coming to the community site and making a forum post there, because those are actually very discoverable. The people who do web searches, Bing and Google, they come across those kinds of questions and answers. But I want to mention, if you have questions, please don't be afraid to come into our Discord and straight up ask us. We're going to be monitoring this, hopefully having 24 to 48 hour turnaround on any questions that come through. But also, I want to put out here, the community support that you're going to get from the Discord is going to go beyond just technical questions. This would be like Josh, for example, like if say you're looking for a teammate, maybe this would be the place to come and find somebody who has a similar interest, or maybe you want to pitch your idea and get some feedback, on like, well, how's this being received when I tell people about my idea? Additionally, maybe you just want to come in here and just make friends with folks who happen to have similar interests, right? Like, we want to kind of open it up for those types of interactions. So please, I do want to call that attention here. We really, really, really want to stress utilizing the Discord for that ability of having real-time communication back and forth. And I think we can get you a little bit closer to ourselves, as well as some of the other hackathon support that's going to be providing questions and answers there.
Yep.
And then finally, Josh, the FabCon hack, which is the GitHub that we were talking about, the repo, I like to think of that as sort of the one-stop shop for
everything,
all the information, all the details, all the rules. So we can maybe do a quick run through here. But is it safe to say, Josh, that if you came here and only here, and you didn't go anywhere else, this would tell you everything you need to know about the hackathon?
Yeah, this will tell you everything you need. All our terms and conditions are here. All the information around prices are here. All the information around how you submit your project is here. And even how to submit your project, you actually submit it right here. So this is your one-stop shop for everything regarding the hackathon. So if you have any questions, if you need any clarification, this should be your guide, essentially.
So this is pretty cool because, like you said, if you have any question about the framework of the hackathon, the rules, and that sort of thing, that's all here.
Yep.
All of it's here. And in addition, I think the interesting thing is when we ask you to submit your project, one of the cool things here, we actually do this via the GitHub repo itself. So you can actually come in here, and we have a special issue template where you'll type in your project selection, determine whether you've completed that learning plan that Josh was alluding to earlier, provide a URL to your repo and a video, your team members, and completing the registration. That's it.
Exactly. Yep.
But that's pretty meta. So like it all happens kind of in the GitHub, right? Like that's
exactly, yes.
I'm gonna just ask a quick question. I don't know if anybody's asked this or even if they're thinking it, but I just want to get ahead of it, especially for beginners. If you are new to Fabric and you love Fabric, but you're looking at GitHub and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do that. That's not for me. I like to live in my Fabric tooling. I don't want to get into GitHub. Is it that scary to get into this and submit? You're like, anybody can do it, right? If you're determined and you want, anybody can do it, right?
Anybody can do it because the GitHub repo basically contains all the instructions. And the other thing, if you need to submit your project, it's just a form. You don't need to do anything else.
No pull request, no having to understand merge conflicts and all the other things that come with GitHub.
Not at all. You just need to fill out the form and that's it.
Good. I just want to make sure nobody, is fearful in that regard, that we are keeping this safe and inclusive here. So with that said, this is our live stream schedule. So as Josh mentioned, there's going to be some weeks there will be multiple episodes, some there will be no episodes, but we'll instead be doing things over on the Discord in the form of AMA. So Josh, I'll let you kind of walk us through this here.
Exactly. So this is going to be our live stream, and I would really, really encourage you to join in on these live streams. These live streams, they're going to cover everything that you need to be successful for your hackathon. Think of it, today we're giving you all the tips and tricks for a successful hackathon. All the other live streams, apart from the last one, they're going to be more technical ones. So we have one on this Thursday with Someleza. He'll be talking about OneLake and how to bring in your data into OneLake, with mirroring, shortcuts, all those good things. We have one on real-time intelligence. We have a team of 3 people coming in talking about RTI. And essentially, one of the things you're going to notice with each of these live streams, they are tied tightly to a particular category. So how we did this is we came up with the hackathon categories, and then we worked back from that. We built the live streams for those particular hackathon categories, chose speakers meticulously, specifically for those categories, so that you actually get everything you need to learn about Fabric for you to build amazing projects for this particular hackathon, because we understand some of you might be beginners, some of you might be getting started with these technologies. And so, getting someone to guide you along the way really goes a long way. And some of these live streams, they're going to have actual demos. So you're going to see how things are actually being built on Fabric, not just slides as we're doing today. So I really encourage you all to join in. And if you're unable to join, these are going to be recorded. So ensure you register on the Reactor's site, so that in case you missed that, you can always go back there and you're going to find the actual recording to these live streams.
So yeah, I want to call that out. That link that you're seeing there on the screen, maybe it's kind of hardest in the middle there. It says AKMF FabCon Hack live stream. That will bring you to the Reactor registration page for this series, where you can literally come in here, sign yourself up, get the notifications in your inbox, know when to join. I would also say, for those of you at the beginning of the presentation, if you added Josh and I on LinkedIn, there's a great chance that we'll be promoting each and every one of these live streams as they come up. A good place to keep there. If y'all are on the Microsoft Fabric subreddit, we're going to try to be keeping folks up to date over there as well. But definitely encourage, check this out. And I want to just call to just what I would say is the thoughtfulness of these sessions, right? Like, we're kicking off the hackathon. We're trying to teach everybody what you need to know, how to participate, where the specific events that are going to be teaching you additional skills are. If you look all the way over to October 16th, that's like 2 weeks ahead of the actual project submission time. We're going to have a special episode that's literally focused on how to make sure you're doing a proper submission so that it's eligible for the prizes, giving you tips and tricks on what could maybe enhance your chances to win and that sort of thing. So this is not something where we're just kicking this off and then running away and coming back 2 months later. We're literally going to be on this week by week by week with various different content. And, it may be too early to say here, Josh, but I know in the past, a lot of times the engineering teams will start begging us to, can I please be involved here? So we may have surprise episodes that come up. I can't promise that, but I know in the past, we'll get the engineering teams really want to share with the folks that are hacking. They want to showcase their things. So something to look out for. We may get some additional live streams coming up just based on that type of interest. So keeping track of time here, I do want to make sure that we are on time. Anna, I know our producer, I want to make sure if we need to close this at the 45-minute mark or the hour mark, because I think we're going to continue going. I think we're going to go past 45.
I am cool to wrap whenever you are ready to wrap.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Anna. All right, so we're gonna keep going, y'all. I think Josh and I estimated we'd be at about 45 minutes, and I don't know. I guess we're excited, and there's too much to talk about. And I want to obviously. Martin Adams is saying, can you provide us with your LinkedIn? Yes, I'll drop that in the chat. Actually, Josh, you want to drop yours as well?
I will.
Yeah, we'd love to catch up with y'all over there, and I will gladly. Oh, Reactor got me. Thank you, Anna, for sharing that, and we'll get Josh in there. All right, so we can calm down and we can relax because we're not going to get kicked off the air in 3 minutes. That's awesome. Thank you for the notification there, Anna. All right, so tips from past hackathons. This is going to be interesting because we're going to actually look at submissions from the previous hackathons. I think these are. I love going through these because they're inspiring. Josh, what is it I always say every year? It's like Christmas on the day when we go to judging, because you get to open up all the cool stuff that everybody's been working on. Exactly. And I'm telling you, there's never been a hackathon that we've done where it's not like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe what I'm seeing. Every single one brings to us some sort of thing, the concepts that we never considered. So we're really looking at that. But step number 1, start early and plan. So you want to make sure you have enough time. Give yourself time for dev. Give yourself time for tests, and avoid last-minute stress. I mean, this kind of goes without saying. Makes sense. Josh, would you say that a lot of the winners from the past, you think, had a well-thought-out hack idea or something they just threw together? I mean, that's a loaded question, but.
No, I think, and we've seen this. This is gonna be our 4th hackathon we're running now, and each time for most of the winners, you see they always start planning early. They plan themselves early. They complete the skills challenge on time. They have enough time to work on their projects, and so that becomes very, very important that you start thinking through about it. Think through, completing your skills challenge, think about if you're working as a team, think about putting together your team early in advance. So all of that is very important so that you're not caught by time at the end, at the very end. And the other thing, tip number two, as we've seen, engage with the community. It's much important, engaging with communities on Discord. That's one, meet people, ask questions there, join in the office hours that we'll be hosting there. Because, for example, in the previous hackathon, the winning project, they actually built a solution based on something that was showcased on one of our live streams. So it's very, very much important that you just join in the live streams. You might find, the missing piece to your project is something that has been demoed on the live stream. So it might be, it might come in very, very handy. So ensure you join that, collaborate with other participants. It's again, from the last hackathon that we actually had, the winning team was comprised of teams from very different places. So, join in the community and get to know people and build your teams for you to collaborate from there. Yeah. And that's very, very important. So, yeah. And the other thing is, yeah.
I guess moving into point 3 on clear documentation and demo, like, why are we asking for that? I think the big one here is the video helped us really see your solution in action. It also kind of has a secondary benefit in that I think for the folks who create these, they usually don't want to tell just us about what they created. They usually want to tell their friends, their family, perhaps their coworkers, their colleagues, etc. And it makes for a great way to proliferate and share what you've created. In addition, I would say the clear documentation kind of goes hand in hand with that, where let's say you're sharing your project out and there's some awareness, but somebody really loves what you did and they want to do it themselves. Having that clear documentation does two things for us. It lets us know that you understand what you built, but more importantly, it lets us know that you empower others to be able to take the information and the knowledge that you gained during the hackathon to enable them to build something similar. And there's sort of a huge net effect of this. At the end of this, we'll have, I'm assuming hundreds of submissions for this go around of this hackathon, where there will be that many types of ideas proliferating because of individuals' participation in this event. And that net effect is something that I just find very inspiring and super powerful. It's the type of thing that it's kind of intangible, but again, it comes from that having a purpose. So, state your purpose early, spend the time building on it, make sure you're shopping your ideas around, utilizing all the resources to truly be a part of the hackathon and build something awesome. And I think the final piece is, whatever you're building, ensure that it aligns with our categories and try to do something that is, innovative, something that's not been seen before, something that solves a real world problem, something that solves something that maybe is important to you as an individual and could benefit others. Those are the types of solutions we're looking at.
Awesome. Yeah. And we've been talking about categories a lot. I think time to see what categories we'll be focusing on now.
Yes, so we'll jump into that. I think before we do, first thing we're going to do is look at some of those previous hackathon winners. So I'm going to go in order of the hackathons that we've ran in the past. So the most recent one was, Josh, you ran the Data plus AI Kenya hack. So we're going to start there. Then as a team, we had ran the AI and Learning Hackathon as well as the Global AI Hack 2024. So I'll respectively go through those. If you want to follow along, the QR codes are up on the screen here where you can sort of link to those individual write-ups. But this will give you an idea on what to expect, like what we see people building in these hackathons, also how they sort of appear on the Fabric Updates blog when we do go through these and curate the winning content. So I just love looking at these. Like our overall winner, I think, for the Kenya hackathon was a retrieval augmented generation virtual assistant for the Higher Education Fund. You can see the video that's been provided here. I actually really encourage you all to watch this one. This is a pretty awesome one. The problem that's being solved here. The winners were utilizing what I would call a recent trend at the time. This hackathon ran earlier in the year, around February. This was focused on retrieval augmented generation, which kind of became a big concept, I'd say, almost a year ago to the day, maybe a year and a half ago, depending on when it might have caught you in your respective roles. But you can see like doing something with the latest and greatest to build something awesome. And we kind of go through here for others. Josh, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, just to mention something here. The winning project here actually this was covered in one of our live streams. That's why I'm emphasizing joining the live streams. One of the live streams was how do you use an event house as your vector store, and this team, they learned that from there and they utilize that. And so you can see why it is very important to join in the live streams.
Excellent. And a great way to mention that, where like literally someone took, yes, the training from the live stream and kind of, they didn't copy it, they adapted it and applied it to build their own thing. We see, agentic powered disease surveillance and outbreak forecasting, lots of interesting things. And I would say part of this, I would even say, like, before you even start on your project, like, go through these former hackathons to get inspiration and ideas. Similarly, if I go through the Fabric and AI Learning Hackathon, this is the one we ran on DevPost about a year ago. Some folks may have joined us for that. Similar situation. We had, various different categories here. When we look at the winning project, this was the Fabric IQ. This was the data-driven. I want to say this one was the one that created synthetic data utilizing pipelines and image data sets. I love the video. I'm not going to ruin it or play it here. I'm not sure my audio anyways, but like this team went above and beyond and kind of like shot what looked like a professional video for this. And I'm not saying you have to do that. I mean, we're going to treat projects on their merits, but yes, you might get our attention if you put more effort into those assets that come across. So like a well-written repository that's very easy to follow, an engaging video that might catch our attention, obviously. Infragen, this was another one that was, I want to say this was utilizing weather data and aviation data to determine pathways for flights and things like that. Really, really interesting one. And then, of course, this one, Media Watch, which was another one for monitoring real-time sensor data, utilizing things like PostgreSQL, KQL, awesome stuff. If you dive into these, I promise you will find inspiration. And then there was the original Axon. This one just kind of makes me warm and fuzzy just to bring it up here because there was never a Fabric Hackathon until March 6th, 2024. And here we are on what's going to be the fourth one, right, Josh? This is the fourth go around.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of cool when you think about that. We pioneered these things. It's so awesome just to see not from a personal standpoint, but just like the way the community came around this and what everyone was inspired to build. And I love just looking at one of our first winners. You can just kind of see this evolution. This was one that looked at image data in a refrigerator to determine whether food was expiring. I'm sure you've seen this hack before. It is one, but they did it with Fabric. It's super cool. Again, a high quality video that they produced here. Another one was utilizing text analytics over a repository. This was a single individual, Brighton Parks, who built this one. Super awesome, where it looked over books, classified them by genre and things like that. Super awesome. And then the accounts payable, this was an interesting one. And I want to say the PII, our grand prize winner, I know 3 of the winners from this one actually came to the inaugural FabCon. So,
Yes.
What we're hoping we do, I can't. That was the PII Innovators, a team from Macedonia. The grand prize winners came all the way from Macedonia, Skopje, depends on what part of the world you're in, how you might name that country, but flew all the way to Las Vegas, had never been to the United States. That was just a super inspiring. So I can't say that we're doing that, but we are giving cash prizes this go around. And FabCon Atlanta will be coming up in April. And I have no guarantees here, but we really want to try to connect this hackathon to the next FabCon. So stay tuned for that. I just don't have sign off on certain things, but I want everyone to know here we want someone to be on that stage. That's all I will say. Okay, so Sylvester asks for the RTI category. Okay, we're going to get into categories, and I'm going to answer that question shortly. So we have best AI application built with Fabric, best use of RTI, best use of AI features in Fabric, best analytics solution with databases or Azure databases or Fabric databases, and best use of open mirroring. That, in my opinion, Josh, doesn't that cover the whole gamut of Fabric? I think you could use any workload. I mean, obviously there's some specifics here where, like, if you're using RTI, you're probably in category 2, but like best AI application, that kind of leaves it open-ended, and we did that on purpose.
Exactly. And you can use any of the workloads on Fabric. You can use data engineering, data science. You can use RTI. You can use anything. And the best AI feature one here is showcasing how you can be productive with the AI features in Fabric. How can you use Copilot in Fabric to become more productive, build your pipelines, build your visuals? Those are the kinds of things we're looking at. So you have an opportunity to build applications, for all the other categories, the 4 categories, or just show us how you can be productive with Fabric, with the best use of AI features in Fabric. All that happens there. So
well said. So I feel like we've given you a good charcuterie board of options with which to go forth and play with recently announced features in Fabric. I mean, just you look at this, it's so obvious, right? It's like best use of mirroring, best use of Azure databases or Fabric databases. If you're keeping up with announcements of like Cosmos and Fabric, you're looking at things like open mirroring and then some of the new shortcuts features, shortcut transformations and things like that. This is literally that operational agents, anomaly detection and real-time intelligence, like all these things like are likely going to be in these categories. So with that mentioned, world is really your oyster here. So I did see Sam had asked if we could provide links to the hackathon winners. I dropped links to all 3 of those resources we were just looking at. So if folks want to go peruse those, I did drop those in there. So let's get into the judging category. And I promise, Sylvester, I'm going to answer your question, but I'm going to do it when it's most appropriate here in a moment. So hackathon alignments. Does the solution fit one of the 5 categories? Well, that should be a no-brainer, in terms of how you apply to that. I would say think of what you want to build and maybe then look at the category it would best fit into. You can also do it the reverse way if you literally just want to be like, man, I just want to learn RTI because I haven't done that. Okay, zero in on that category. That's where you're aligned to. But that would be a step 1. You definitely want your idea to have some natural alignment. If it doesn't align to anything, we kind of have that catch-all that hopefully it's using AI because we do have the best AI solution. But I will tell you the competition is going to be fierce there. There's likely going to be a lot of folks that are building solutions in that particular category. So don't just build something and throw it in there as a catch-all. I'm saying like you want to be thoughtful in terms of what you want to do. For innovation and impact, this comes down to like how useful is this? Like, did you just give me sample data that really doesn't solve anything? Are you using sample data that actually, if we had real data, would do something super valuable? That's a big deal. Or are you using real data and demonstrating a real solution? I'm not saying any one of those is necessarily better than the other, but you can kind of hear in my voice as it goes from good to better to best. Not to knock on your question though, Sylvester. So Sylvester has asked, for the RTI category, can we simulate data ingestion? I mean, absolutely. You probably want to because real-time data can be expensive to source, aggregate, and that sort of thing. So you probably want to. I would just make sure that what you're using is a sample that would be relevant to the domain of the problem you're solving. So like if it's weather, then maybe use real weather data. Don't make up weather data. Use some historical weather data. Use the past data to do the training and the build out. And then maybe for that, when you're recording the video, you can flip it on to real data. I'm just giving an example here. But yes, absolutely. And in fact, if the whole solution is only using simulated data, we understand that you might need to do that. There are some people who build solutions for these hackathons that, quite honestly, they're building them as pet projects in their company. And they can't they can't submit to the hackathon their company's data. So what they'll do in their repo is provide like a sample data, but maybe like mention like we actually put this into production. We are using real data. Obviously, I can't share that. Like we're going to take those kinds of things into account.
Exactly. And just to highlight, one of the runners-up from our last hackathon, they actually did exactly what Paul mentioned. They had some real company data, but they couldn't put that on the repo. They couldn't do that sharing. So they created synthetic data that mirrored actually what they have internally. And then that's what they were able to use for the hackathon. So totally okay to use simulated data as long as it aligns in the domain of the problem you're solving.
And Josh, for the next one, it mentions so documentation and reproducibility. I think we talked about why this is important.
Yep.
Just let you hit on this real quick, but I think we went into why that's important. Obviously, shareability, get our attention type of thing. Can it enable others? Is there anything else you can think of there?
Yeah, and on that point of documentation and reproducibility, because we need to see the repo, you need to provide us access to the repo for us to do the judging. Another thing that we've changed from the previous years, this year, you can have your repo as private. That's totally okay. In the event you want to, you can just provide the blab that we need, but you will need to ensure that Paul and myself are added to the repo so that we can ensure that is judged. Find all those all that information on the GitHub repo on how to do all of that. So that's also another thing that, to try and accommodate this for some people, they don't want to make their repos public. So allowed for that as well. So
that's a good point. That someone could be building something that maybe is altered for their work. Yep. So they want to keep it completely private, but they also want to submit to this hackathon. They add you and I's GitHub usernames to their repo. We could look at it, assess it from there, and determine whether it's a winner. So that's awesome. And then finally, I think it goes without saying, the video demonstration. That can help us talk about how awesome your thing is. If you can tell us how awesome it is in 5 minutes and we think it's awesome, we'd love to go out sharing it for you as well. And don't be surprised. I'm trying to talk with some of the folks who are doing the Fabric Fridays live stream. There might want to reach out to some of y'all if y'all are making good videos. I mean, I can't make a promise here, but I'm just going to say, if you make something that's really compelling, I would bet someone from Microsoft is going to reach out to you and want to learn more about it. That does tend to happen. So can't promise, but we'll just say you can increase your odds there. So best AI application. $1,500 prize bounty on this one. These are things that would utilize things like data agents, Copilot, AI functions, RAG applications, integrations with Foundry.
Yep.
It's great because we have the Foundry Discord where you can go in there and ask all the questions. So requires building a solution. Sam, mine is uToolblock, but it's only necessary. The GitHub usernames are only necessary if you have a private repo that you're submitting at the end of the day. If it's a public repo, you just submit us the link. But if you need my username, that's my GitHub username. All eligible list submissions, you can see the details here using AI capabilities. I apologize. I want to run through this because we are at the 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
But the rules are written there. Similarly, best use of real-time intelligence, $1,500. This will be things that use RTI, event streams and event houses, real-time data processing, analytics, monitoring, alerting, that sort of thing. If you got questions, ask us in the Discord.
Exactly.
Best use of AI features within Fabric. These are more specific, where this is not just an AI-based solution, but something that's literally utilizing things like Copilot to build visuals, data agents to enable conversational analytics, AI functions, shortcut transforms.
Yes, basically here we want to see how can you be productive with the AI features in Fabric. So we're not actually looking at the end solution you're building, but now this is where you are able to show us, I was using Copilot, I was able to be this productive, I was using AI functions, things like that. How are you productive with the AI features inside of Fabric?
Like I thought it was going to take me 10 days to figure out this feature. I asked Copilot, it spit something out that was 80% correct. Those are the kind of stories we want to get from this particular category. Best analytics solution with Azure or Fabric databases. This is literally the folks bringing in your, operational databases on Azure that can include Azure SQL, Cosmos DB, Azure Database for Postgres. Doing things like using mirroring, change data capture, pipelines, data flows Gen 2, or Fabric's native databases, for example, Fabric and SQL. Cosmos and things, if you have access to it. These would be the types of things that we would be looking for here. Best use of open mirroring. Again, one that uses open mirroring to replicate external data in the Fabric. I apologize. I see there's a couple typos here. We'll address that. Don't hang this. We'll fix it in the GitHub repo. Showcasing how schema changes are updated and handled, those sorts of things. Focus on simplifying ingestion from any source utilizing mirroring. Again, I think the bigger questions are going to come back from once you go off and get your idea and you start to align it to your category. I would highly recommend, we want you to do this. Come to the Discord, ask Paul, Josh, myself, others who might be there. Hey, is this idea a good fit for this category? We'll tell you.
Yep.
And go forth, build. This is what we want. That's what we want to see. Grand prize. This one is literally any of the submissions that come about. It's the one that we as judges just think is freaking awesome and needs, bonus prize money attached to it. So this is the grand prize. That'll be 2,500 USD. Of course, we'll figure out a way to divide that by 3 if you're using a 3-person team. But nonetheless, this will be the grand prize top tier that you could be eligible for. All right, so finally, y'all know this. Remember, there's really kind of 2 steps. It's register, complete the skill, 3 steps, sorry. Register, complete the skills challenge, and then build something. But don't build it alone. Build it. Oh, that's funny. Microsoft will take 30 minutes. Not now, please. Perfect timing. But yeah, join us in the Discord. Don't hack alone. We want to be there with you and help you. And of course, join us on Thursday, September 25th, the day after my birthday. I'm not staying out too late because I want to wake up early for Sommeliers at Deco, another member of our team, who will be joining us for the first technical live stream session. We're bringing all your data everywhere in the one lake with Fabric. You can get the QR code here. This is an easy share out. It's all here on the slide. Everything you need to know for that.
And for anyone who has had open mirroring for the first time, this is the session. This is the session that should help.
If you want to know. So if you're looking at the open mirroring category, this is the one that applies to that category.
Exactly. This is the session. Yes.
Perfect. So with that said, I think we're on the last slide here. Just really want to remind you again what we were here for in the first place. This is the Sylvester's got Windows updating. I don't know how I'm attending my next meeting with this. That's the future of data with and AI with Microsoft Fabric. Here's the QR code to get you started with everything. It is live now. Registration is open. The Discord is open for engagement, coming in with your questions. We're here to hopefully provide you with answers. And we're off until around the Ignite time frame on November 3rd. So this should keep everybody interested in Fabric until we get that next wave of announcements. That's the big thing I'm looking at. And again, I don't know how or if we're going to connect this to that event in some way, but do know I'm always working behind the scenes. If I can get slides added into the product team's presentations, like I want to get as much visibility for folks who participate in this event as possible. So you have that trust from me that there may be additional opportunities for visibility on this, and we're going to definitely be looking into those and chasing those down. But until then, the homework assignment I think everyone has is go forth, think about what you want to build, join us on the Discord, and let's start hacking together.
Awesome. That's true.
And we'll be with y'all till November 3rd. So yeah, that's it. With that said, if you have any questions, come drop into the Discord. I think I've gone over time. If you got questions, jump into the Discord. We'll answer them over there. And we appreciate y'all taking the time to join us. Look forward to seeing y'all at the next one.
Thank you all for joining, and thank you to our speakers. This session is a part of a series. To register for future shows and watch past episodes on demand, you can follow the link on the screen or in the chat. We're always looking to improve our sessions and your experience. If you have any feedback for us, we would love to hear what you have to say. You can find that link on the screen or in the chat. We'll see you at the next one.